Be ready. Start. Positive environment, positive shifts in life. We see and feel different kinds of environments: physical, educational, intellectual, social, financial, spiritual, and material. Parents, brothers, and sisters, and our elderly guardians at home make our lives cozy and comfortable. At school, teachers and fellow students educate us. Thus, we experience an educational or learning shift in schools. As we grow and pass through different levels of schooling, we experience an intellectual shift. At the workplace, we learn to work in a cooperative way. Friendly cooperation leads to order in life as well as at the workplace, resulting in a social shift. We make a living at our workplace. It causes a shift in our financial standing. The aforesaid environments are responsible for these shifts. However, the real order and shift come from self confidence and self strength. When these traits dominate, we possess the power of control. However, we lose this control once we misuse it. Our inner strength should be channelized for the common good above self gain and prosperity. In this way, there is collective prosperity and it is good for individual prosperity too. The above are the cause and effect of positive shifts. Shifts can be negative too. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, Krishna describes two kinds of influences: the divine and the demoniac. Divine influence causes a positive shift, while the other influence causes a negative shift. This chapter devotes only 3 verses to describe the divinity in man, which is responsible for the positive shift. Those who have control over desire, anger, and greed are divine, and those who have not are demoniacs. Human behavior comes in between. If it is close to divinity, then it is likely that it would be free of bondages. However, if it is close to the that boundary, it always remains bound to these three self-destroying traits. In science, there is a phenomenon called night shift, named after its discoverer Walter Knight. It is a shift of the nuclear magnetic resonance frequency of the nucleus in a metallic environment compared to its corresponding value in an insulting environment. In metals, electrons are free. In insulators, these are bound. Thus, freedom of electrons causes this shift. Freedom is a positive attribute, thus, night shift is normally positive. Collective effects of cooperation among electrons enhance this shift. Thus, we see an example of similarity in life and matter. It may be of interest to note that NMR is known as MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, in the field of medical diagnostics. Materials are studied in science. The above analysis of environmental shift implies that life too can be modeled by science. Scientists adhere to reason, experimentation, accuracy, and precision. If these traits are followed in studying human nature, it can be studied more accurately. But life is much more complex than matter. Science does not create itself, it is humans who create science. Science, on the other hand, perfects life to a great extent. We know that the relationship between the creator and creation is amongst the most mysterious and complex phenomena that continues to baffle us, notwithstanding the fact that advances in knowledge are taking place continuously. The middle path versus loving detachment. Most Hindu households in South India accept the Buddha as one of the avatars, as his teachings are not thought to be very different than what Vedanta advocates. Gautam Buddha may have had to become an ascetic and abjure all worldly pleasures, leaving his palace, home and family, his royal heritage, and friends, worldly pleasures and comforts, in order to embark on a journey to find the truth. He spent long periods fasting, meditating, and living austerely, but that was what he wanted to do, as he was deeply affected by and sensitive to all the suffering he witnessed in the world when he went on a chariot ride outside the protection of the palace. As Prince Siddharth Gautam witnessed illness, death, penury, and a wandering ascetic, and concluded that the world was full of dukh. It was nothing but suffering. To become enlightened, one had to first find the cause of suffering and overcome it. The cause was mainly attachment to worldly desires and cravings. The remedy was to break free of this unhealthy attachment. The middle or the eightfold path is recommended to live between the state of self indulgence and complete denial, that is, by living in moderation, cognizant of all the ups and downs, yet remaining stable and balanced in lifestyle and outlook. You could increase your chances of experiencing enlightenment. This is more or less what Hindu scriptures and sages advocate, except that the focus is on joy and ecstasy rather than on suffering and misery. We are encouraged to enjoy worldly life, execute our responsibilities, live a householder's life, and at the same time do it all with a sense of loving detachment, so that one's focus remains steady on the path of truth. This kind of person is called a person with steady wisdom by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, wherein he says the trick is to find the golden mean, the right balance that allows for experience of worldly desires in moderation, as well as the ability to look above and beyond these towards higher dimensions. The Hindus' approach is joyous and happy despite the many challenges that portend suffering, whereas the Buddhist approach is to grasp the nettle of suffering right at the start and then learn to find the cause and overcome it also by staying steadfast and balanced. Suffering is part of life for one who is born. So, to remove all suffering is perhaps not an achievable target, but to approach life with a happy and joyful attitude and accept it with all its suffering and challenges might perhaps be an approach that is closer to ground reality and therefore more seeker friendly. These could be why Buddhism appeals more to the intellectual class, whereas the Hindu approach, being more word friendly, may appeal to those who are unable to renounce everything in order to understand and overcome suffering. They like to be in the world but also outside of it, straddling both suffering as well as joy in the course of their journey. Because the variety of approaches lead to the same destination, we need to embrace and welcome all schools of thought that are giving us the opportunity to choose whatever suits us best, somewhat like the New Age targeted therapies that cater to individual healing requirements.